it's Cinnamon Cooney, the Art Sherpa. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am pretty excited. This was sort of a surprise live broadcast, but I'm really excited to be doing it. We're doing the Bohemian Tree, which I think I have been asked about doing for a really, really long time. You're gonna need materials. It always helps the painting process to have some paint and some canvases, so let's talk about that. You're gonna need a 16 by 20 pre-gessoed canvas. Literally bought this today from Michael's, the husband did, when I realized I had run out of canvases in the 5-pack. So that's how I absolutely, definitely shop from there when I'm in an emergency. Paint colors: Mars Black, Dog's Eating Purple, Yellow Ochre, Burnt Sienna, Cad Yellow, Phthalo Blue, Cad Red Medium, and Titanium White. I like to hide my materials list in the description. I think I might have pulled out Burnt Sienna, so I'm going to add it at the end. Like, I'll go back in and type that back in. But it's in the description. That's where I like to put it in there. Is in the description. I'm going to be using assorted acrylic brushes. Also in that description, I put a list of just the brushes. If you had those, you could just paint anything. But I'm using Creative Marks, Synthetic Bristles, Pro Strokes, and Ebony Splendors, which is like my thing. And of course, and tonight is a very special Sippy Sippy.
Hi, Cinnamon.
Who's saying hi?
Hi, it's me. I'm back here behind you.
Oh. My husband is saying hi.
Hi.
Too much Sippy Sippy. Actually, this is my first Sippy Sippy. So Desi from HEB, you ever do that thing where you're going through the grocery store and they have like the samples and she's like, try this, try that. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I had this and I'm like, how was this done? Also in the description, this is bananas. This is some sort of mango tropical sangria of yum. It's very calming and delicious to the Sherpa.
It looks very delicious.
It's so good. You're so bummed you don't have any.
I have my own Sippy Sippy.
I know. You have your little shock top Belgian white with the orange thing.
Oranges. I wonder what everyone else is drinking with Sippy Sippy they have with us.
Yeah, and you know, tea and coffee and soda all count as Sippy Sippies. All yummy things that are wonderful beverages count as Sippy Sippies. Do we have a Sippy Sippies?
I think we have lots.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to get my brush wet. And I'm going to throw in the background real quick. And the background is a pretty easy one to do. It's just a little burnt sienna and cad yellow. That's all it is. And the trick is sometimes you want this to be more brown and sometimes you want it to be more yellow. And you're going to put this in there and just start working this in. Creating this background for this Bohemian Tree. And that's all it is. Pretty simple stuff. So we're just putting it in, getting in that nice kind of glowing foreign alien atmosphere.
I think that we have Maricha and Bob moderating for us tonight.
Oh, thank you, Maricha and Bob. Thank you so much. I'm sure we're going to have a very peaceful. And it's going to be all pleasant and happy.
We had a lot of people vote for this painting.
Yeah, we did.
This was an overwhelming.
Yeah, let's
Please
do this today, which is good because this is a really relaxing one to do for me. I'm getting a little white here and I'm going to add it. If your painting student paints, sometimes adding a little white into your mix will improve your coverage.
Well, Suzanne from the Netherlands is saying it's a little earlier there today. It's midnight instead of 3 or 4 a.m. like it normally is for.
Thank you, Suzanne. We're going to do a flipped broadcast where we do it much, much earlier in our day, so it's a more reasonable time in your day. Because we want to be sure that we're global. That's the thing about being on YouTube is you got to remember that you're global. You're not local.
We love the fact that we have watchers from all over the place.
I do. I love it. So we're going to make sure that we make some parties, even blacklight parties that happen at more convenient times for everybody. that are just a little easier to attend and not so demanding on the time scale. Listen, while we're at it, while we're thinking of time zones, I don't know how many of you know Clive from Clive 5 Art. He's a good friend of mine on YouTube. And you know, he's a fantastic art teacher and I really like him, and he's just been a really good buddy, and I treasure the friends that I make on YouTube, the fellow YouTubers. He's hurt, so if we could all just send him some healing energy and some love and well-wishing that he is on a speedy recovery, because I mean, I don't want to go in Clive withdrawal, and I'm sure you don't want to go in Clive withdrawal.
Maybe we can get Clive to come visit us on Skype on a show.
I would like to. Clive only does that on Friday nights.
Only on Friday nights does he do guest appearances?
Yeah, he's a Friday Nights Lights.
I can see that.
But he never gets those jokes because he lives in Wales. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So.
But then he'll say things to me like, I'm in the middle of high tea, and I think he's kidding, and then he sends me a picture of actual high tea that he's at.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool in my book.
It is. It's pretty awesome.
What were you putting down there?
Cad yellow, medium.
So when we go in to get cad yellow, is it obvious that there's a medium?
Yeah, it is. There's cad yellow dark and deep. It's called deep or light or medium. And then it also comes in hue and in true cad. And unless you're doing student paints, and then they don't even give you that option. They're just like, you get hue. That's what you get, because that's where they save the money. Cadmium is a very expensive, possibly environmentally unfriendly ingredient. I don't know. There's a huge debate about it. But then artists will debate anything. There's a huge debate about whether or not you should sign your paintings right now. Huge debate. To sign or not to sign, that is the question.
So could you talk about your brush stroke there? It's very random. It's going a lot of different directions, and people were asking why you're going in such different directions with it.
So that's a very good question. I'm going to hold this really, really up to the... See if we can... Is it pulling, or does it just seem dark today?
It does seem a little dark too. I'm going to come over and...
check these lights.
I'm going to pull another light in just so we can get some brighter light on that. Hold on a second while everyone's...
Yeah, because I want to be able to like get up in here and like show you the craziness. Let's get some extra lights on this. So what's going on with my brush stroke is basically this. I'm painting this nice Filbert, and I'm trying to create this atmospheric background that's just sort of intangible and esoteric. And if I create, like if I go horizontal or vertical, and I'm very regimented and I'm very controlled, that will really change and alter the feeling of this piece. So when I'm trying to create something like as if, you know, it's like a sunrise, and maybe it's foggy, or maybe it's dusty, I would do this in a landscape. I would do this sort of breaking up my line pattern as I'm laying in the background. Now we're not going to that high realism state where, oh my goodness, I'm about to have such a spotlight on me. We're not good.
What are the coyote nonsense is going on in the background?
Oh no. And here it comes.
Another flood.
We'll check it. Boom.
Let's see. Pull up there. Does that help?
I don't know if that's helping. It could be. Maybe I'm just holding it wrong. I mean, I feel like we're seeing it. I think the camera just goes like, why are you doing it? Anyway, so that's how I'm getting that. What are you doing?
I'm going to go in and...
I'm getting some more paint right now, guys, which he's not.
I'm not catching that. Oh,
Go
there we
on,
go.
camera.
Look at that. I can pull that camera up a bit. A little too much there.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's not too bad.
Okay. That's actually, if you look in the camera, it looks like...
Oh, you're washing
it looks like I'm made of shiny cellophane. So I've
Is that
gone...
better?
Yeah, I think that's as high as we can go.
All right, that looks pretty good.
Especially with these lights, cause look, I'm like suddenly I'm the Tin
Wow,
Man.
you are glowing. Let's fix that.
I'm a glow, and it's not a good glow.
How do we do it? Turn on, look at me. This is live. This is what live happens. Is that better?
Yeah, well, I mean, I look human now,
All right, we fixed
and not, you know, what was it, Cherry 5000?
See how awesome that was? We just were able to do all that right there live with
I
everyone.
bet they loved it. But
I'm
they
sure
were like,
they love that. That's like, you guys fixed your broken camera on TV. Great.
yeah, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. So that's what I'm doing. So you see, I'm just like, I'm randomizing the stroke, but when I do, it breaks up those patterns. So much of painting is, my mom will say, Ginger Cook Live will say, oh, you know, don't clone, or everyone will have a way of basically saying this, which is that you're trying to break up your patterns to trick the eye. And you'll notice that I'm also really trying very hard not to have the same tonality. Though I've got it a little bright right here because I know I've kind of got a tree coming. And we may look at that in a second and think about like, what's going to be there? And I come up here with a little white and yellow and lighten it up. And how do we want it to be? See, and because I did it this way earlier, even when I'm coming in with other paint and it's dry, it feels like it's a better blend.
You know, I think that there's a message I'm reading here that I should perhaps be distracting you so people can have a chance to catch up on some of the background.
Okay. I know I'm fast.
You're brushing right along there.
I am, but I'm going to sippy in a second.
Sippy. I can do a sippy. That's our excuse to just take a break, which is a good excuse.
You don't know how really good this is. I mean, everything on that little tray, I was like, and it was like, woo.
Wow, I just glanced up and wow, we have someone with us from South America who loves our tutorials, and I'm not going to attempt that name.
Hi.
It looks like I say
attempted.
It's a very pretty name. It almost looks like sunrise, but it's more complex than that.
He's like, it's a I trick him with the palette. He goes, it's a palette. I'm going there now. You ready? So hi South America. I so appreciate you being
and
here.
And
Sweden.
Yeah.
I definitely love Sweden. You and I both been to Sweden.
Yes.
But not together.
Not together. Independently.
Independently.
As Sweden would prefer.
I'll tell you what. I'll say this. One of the things that I found really great in Sweden was just seriously, you know, you don't have a concept of incredible mountain vista until you go there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that doesn't even seem possible. And yet it is. Oh, such beauty. Such incredible beauty.
Michael was voting for Dippy Sippy.
Was what?
Michael was voting for Dippy Sippy instead of Sippy Sippy.
Dippy Sippy?
Because you're putting your brush in the...
Oh, Michael.
We have a lot of footage of that somewhere.
Yeah, Michael knows me well. Michael's like, oh, I've been here before. I know what can happen.
Now, that may have been a Michelle because I read it so fast.
Yep. Was it Michelle?
I'm pretty sure it's Michelle. I'm going to have to go back up there.
Oh, wow. See, doing comments and making the cuts is hard.
Yeah, it's really hard to go back and forth. You are fast.
And you know what? And you know this because you've seen me do other canvases. You know this is actually a very relaxed pace for me. This is my dawdle.
I'm trying to distract you.
Are you?
No, but I should be.
No, because remember, it is your YouTube given right to pause me. Why did you go to the palette? And we have that enabled, don't we, on these? We have pause the Sherpa?
Yeah, the DVR functionality is enabled for everyone. So if we are going too fast, you can hit pause and then catch right back up.
You're like, oh, girl, you got to stop.
Yeah.
And you just stopped me.
So, and this will be available live, or this will be available on demand immediately after the show. So, you know, everyone, please take your time to like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate all the likes. It helps us. It helps YouTube know that you guys are here and watching. And
also, I got to show off my mug.
That's the awesomest mug in our house.
Yeah, I won it at the Crab Shack.
You did.
I did. I had to bounce a penny into a shot glass inside a fish tank to win it, and I did it.
To win the tiki guy.
I could have bought it, but I was like, I was like all
No.
the time eating crab going, I'm going to win that tiki tiki.
A one tiki tiki glass is so much better than a bought tiki tiki glass.
It totally is. Plus, I have a dream of having a tiki tiki backyard someday. Tiki tikis.
So everyone's telling me their real names in channel, Brenda and Mona, and so it's so that I hopefully I will remember that fabric, paper and beads is Brenda,
Hi, Brenda.
and Monochi 08 is Mona.
Hi, Mona.
But see, I will never remember that, so I'm gonna have to scroll up every time and go, wait, what was that name? But I it's just because I suck at names.
He doesn't. He's going to learn them, and he's going to be like all pro. He's going to be all up in your biz, knowing everything. Pretty soon, like knowing everything that's going on with you. He's like that. I'm going to put out some paint, so I'm just messing with my husband. Just to make sure I have a little bit there, because I feel...
You feel...
I don't know if there's a way for you to notice this. So, this tube of paint
is upside down.
is my burnt sienna. And I'll see this with the natural things more and more. And you may have had this happen, where you buy a tube, you pay for it, and it honestly should have been a complete tool, and taking it back, and it come out and it's like gummy. It's just gummy. It's
Is there a streak in it?
no, it's just gummy.
Oh, okay.
Can you see it's sort of chunky?
Yeah,
The
it's
others are like
kinda-
smooth butter, and this is gummy.
Yeah, it looks like peanut butter.
So now, don't do what I did here. I was just too lazy to go back, and I'm like, I'm just going to thin it with water and make it work. You pay a lot of money for your paint, and the correct consistency for all acrylic paint is warm butter. It should be squeezing out like it's just about to melt butter. It should not be clumpy. It should not be gummy. What happens is there's paint is not forever, and then the other thing is that extreme temperatures mess with acrylic paint. Now, the acrylic paint companies, I've written them, and they're like, oh yes, we have tested this and deep frozen and thawed our paint 8 times. Well, apparently that paint has been frozen a 9th time. I don't want to tell them, and they disavow and they deny, and it's like a really weird thing that happens with paint companies. But here's the deal. Go back to the store of origin and demand your money back and exchange your paint. I didn't, because I just didn't want to deal with getting any more paint.
Well, you know, Jaylene is with us, and she's painting. She's a little brush. She's 5.
Jaylene is 5?
Yeah.
That is an awesome little brush age. Thank you for painting with me, Jaylene. Thank you. So we're going to put in our tree. And I'm going to use a 1/2 inch bright, which they're going to give the number. Ebony Splendor will call this a 10, and some other company will call it a 12. And some, like at first I thought, well, it's probably just millimeters, and I don't understand it. No.
What does bright mean?
Bright is a square. Filbert is rounded. And then you have long bristles and short bristles. Then you have round. Let me see if I have a detail that I haven't killed.
There's always those cool fan brushes too. I like those.
Yeah, and dude, those work. Like in acrylic, you can do all that Bob Ross stuff with acrylic. Here's a detail.
Gotta raise a sippy sippy to the bob.
Yes, Bob Sippy Sippy. And then of course, my favorite brush, a 1/2 inch angle shader. And then there's liners. There's specific brushes, and they have specific jobs. If you can garner an abused, battered brush that's all fluffy and horrible, that's great for clouds and effects. Good to have those around. And these come in big, like here's a big giant brush.
That's a good sized brush.
That's a big, but they call this a 20.
What's the one behind you called?
Which one? Oh, the big one? That was my Christmas present. So that's kind of brushes, and I probably should do a whole brush thing, but I mean, they won't standardize it, and it makes me crazy.
So which one are we using right now?
1/2 inch bright.
The 1/2 inch bright.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless it really makes me annoyed, then I will get a bigger bright. So all I'm going to do is, I don't like to ever use pure black because I'm weird like that. I'm going to mix some black and purple.
Could you push that canvas up on there? The palette? There you go.
Thank
Perfect.
you. See, I'm so glad there's someone here to catch this, so I'm not like painting the whole thing and not knowing. And I'm having to add a little more water than I might usually to my paint to thin it and mist it because of the heat of the lights. You can mix acrylic paint up to the manufacturer's recommendation, which is generally anywhere between 15 and 40% with water, because it's a water-based paint. So I'm going to come up about a third of the way of the canvas. I'm going to make a little mark with my paint. You could do this with chalk if you're feeling brave. I'm going to come down with almost a third of the canvas left, or I guess that would be 2/3.
That's I'm not sure what
And
part of math that was wrong in, but that was some wrong math.
Again, isn't it very glad I don't have a math YouTube show?
It's good that we're not a math YouTube show, yeah.
I appreciate the math YouTube shows.
But we're also not listed under comedy.
Oh, we should be. We funny. Maybe not intentionally, but we're funny. We're not like Todd Graham funny, but we're funny.
We should have Todd on here.
I really want to have Todd on here.
He could paint with you.
He's got a really good, he just became a dad. So I think he's going to get funnier or sleepier. One of those two things is happening, maybe both. First baby, you gotta send love to Todd wherever he is. Doing whatever Todd's doing.
Something funny, I'm sure.
Something funny. Yeah, he's a funny dude. He is in our art collaboration group. And he's a photographer besides his vlog, and he's doing these photography projects with it. And some pretty amazing stuff. And I think that he should create, because he's such a funny person and he explains photography so well. I'm like, you should have a show about photography that's funny and easy, and then will explain to me how to use this camera phone in a way that doesn't make me want to bang my head into a wall.
So can I ask you something there?
Yes, you can.
Why are you using two little things of black paint?
I'm not. Dioxazine purple,
Ah.
Mars black.
Okay, it just looks, so you're mixing
See, can you see it if I pull it out?
There you go. Yeah, I can see it now. It just looked black to, from here.
Yeah. Yeah, and the blue and purple look exactly the same. And here's the thing. It is normal, if you haven't been coloring or painting in a while, to not be able to see the differences between these three colors, and you may even need to write down the names of them. And don't think there's something like just, wrong with you. That's actually something that can really happen to people. You have to train your eyes to see the different shades and values, and that's something that comes over time.
Could you show us a little close-up of why you're using that black and purple at the same time? Because it doesn't really...
I can.
It doesn't really convey here.
It doesn't, does it? It
No,
looks like I'm just making extra work to paint with black and purple.
It does. So it's hard. I don't think we're getting to see the painterly streakiness of it.
Well, also it keeps it from being a very dead color. It makes a difference when people... It's so interesting. Like, you can do a silhouette, but if you think to do your silhouettes...
So so there, yeah, you can see that a little bit more. So you're just sort of softening up that, so it's not a harsh black. It's just sort of a shadowy black.
Yeah, it does. It softens and warms it up, and it... Does the camera seem to be having trouble seeing it today, or is it just that it's wet?
It's that it's far back on the screen, and relatively.
No, I mean when I'm holding it up close.
Oh no, when you hold it up close, it does okay.
Okay.
It picks some of it up. We'll work on getting some more light on that though.
Now I'm interestingly going to switch to another half-inch shader that I have because I like its sharp edge. Not half-inch shader, bright.
Right.
Yeah, because what you're looking for is a sharp edge. I'm going to get this. I'm going to keep mixing my black and purple because I like it. It's just a weird little touch. But like when you're at an art show and stuff, people will notice. They'll be like, they know there's something about it that's different. So my tree, whenever I'm doing a tree, I sort of imagine that I'm planting a seed and I'm sending something out there. And I like to start out the main trunk. And I'm coming up along here. And I'm going up. Not quite off, but I'm going to go up. And that one I will, maybe I will curve it. I don't know. I'll probably curve the ones next to it. But here's the deal with trees. Coming up, and here, pay close attention to what I'm doing here.
You got some great rules for trees that make it easy.
I do. So you'll notice that the tree is wider at the base here and tapering and ever getting skinnier as it grows up. These lines are parallel and bisecting. In other words, they're running along like it's following the shape and line, but it's getting closer and closer together. Now, any tree branches that I now take out from this trunk must be smaller than whatever it's attached to, and all subsequent branches must be smaller than what they're attached to. Can you throw up the picture?
Sure. But you've never seen any of my drawings because they don't look like that.
Yeah. So see, it's getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier as things grow out, and that's sort of the trick to that. So that's something. The other thing I want you guys, if you haven't done trees in a while, like since, you know, kindergarten even, a couple of things. It's going to give you a lot of anxiety because, believe it or not, you have a lot of tree emotionality that you didn't know you had to go to paint this tree. A lot of feelings about trees. And the other thing is you're going to want to draw and paint little tiny stubby little branches, but you're going to just need to like branch out and go long. The longer is better on tree branches and legs. Longer is better. So I'm going to paint this in. And you're like, where are the roots going to come from? Ooh, we're going to do negative space roots. But
So how hard would it be to do these in watercolor?
so in watercolor, the issue with painting watercolor and acrylics is that they have opposite realities. In a watercolor, you're saving your white. You paint your lightest first. Your reflections, your just your lightest colors first, and then you continually add dark and shadow until you know the watercolor comes out, and you're always trying to leave open edges, soft edges, and hard edges. Acrylic painting, a lot of times you're painting dark first and then lightening it up, which you can't do in watercolor at all. So if you were doing this in watercolor, you would want to frisk it out like your dots, and you would have to, you'd have to frisk it out all your dots, and you'd have to sketch in your tree first to know where your tree was going to be, so you'd have good dot painting, and then you'd frisk it your tree. And then you'd paint your little wash and all of this, you'd want to hold that out, and then you'd paint in all your little wash here. And then you'd get all your little frisket off, and then you'd start working in your tree, and you'd start working in your dots. But you'd have to save some of this out, because you could probably get away without, because this is so dark, you might be able to get away with not frisketing it.
So what you're saying is that somebody who knew how to do watercolor could do that.
Yeah.
But I don't actually
Well,
know what you
and
just
here's
said.
the thing. I see people doing watercolor wrong all the time, and they still get good paintings out. So don't even worry about it. You know, my thing is like, there's some ideal techniques for things, or there might be some ways that, you know, ideally you should do it. But don't let that ever stop you from just enjoying your art materials and having fun. See a lot of good watercolors out there by a lot of artists that I really like, and you know, maybe they're not done totally correctly. So I'm just working this out.
What is correctly anyway?
I don't know.
Sippy sippy?
Sippy sippy
Sippy
time.
sippy.
All right. We're going too slow.
Are we?
No, I don't know.
We'll have to ask everyone out there.
All right, I'm going to start building my tree and creating some tree branches. So I'm going to say that I'd like a little tree branch to come out here and curve around here. Now, this tree is going to look a little different than the first painted tree, than the design. And you know what that is? Because it's just gonna. Because every time, I'm not trying to like be a copy machine. I'm trying to enjoy painting a Bohemian tree. I, too, am trying to have a good time during this painting party.
Then we do.
And we do. So I've kind of curved that around. If you're having trouble with your bright, you can do this with a detail round.
And when you get through with this branch, why don't you bring it closer to the camera? I know we don't have our close-up camera, so it'd be good to let people see that.
Okay, I'll do that. How I get the branch to get skinnier and skinnier and skinnier is that I lighten my pressure. That's actually how that's done. I feel like I want one coming down here. All right. Can we really see that?
Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And it's you can see the purple pickups, and that's actually so what we're seeing there is those highlights are actually purple from the paint and not the underpainting showing through the black.
Yep.
So that's
Purple
just
also neutralizes the yellow beneath it because they're contrasting colors.
yeah.
Just a little thing that it does very conveniently for everyone. And I feel like I want another. And I like curving these branches and making this more of a whimsical style tree instead of a factual style tree.
Well, it's a Bohemian tree.
It's Bohemian. It does its own thing. It doesn't listen to the other trees about what it should be and what it should do. Neither should you.
Well, what tree is telling it what to do?
I don't know. There's always a pushy tree, isn't there?
I don't know. We gotta.
Telling all the other little trees how to be and how to grow leaves and how to feel about those leaves. I don't know why there's always a pushy tree. I bet y'all have run into some pushy trees in your life.
We have some great questions that are going through here on the
right.
form. They're going so by so fast.
We'll
I'm gonna have
find
to scroll.
some and ask them.
I'll have to scroll back up here. Someone's learned a lot about brush pressure, so they must be aware of our cats.
Yeah, I mean, you can really see it here on the palette when I do this. Like if I press hard, it's thick, and then as I lighten up, it gets thinner, 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 thinner.
And you call that light cat pressure?
Light cat, yeah. If it's a wet, angry cat, how lightly would you pet it?
Now, do you have a preference? It looks like, let's see here. Someone I saw it up here, maybe Jessica, was looking at buying some Liquitex Basic or Windsor Newton paints. And she was curious if you had some suggestions on how to select those and how she could choose between the two of them. What would be a good for her to look at to say what would be a best way for her to figure out what paint's right for her?
Go to my paint to paint comparison video because I literally have those paints next to each other and we talk about their positives and negatives right there as we're covering up a yellow and red line, and it really just breaks it down.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to go get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is, and not at all trying to shirk that off. It's just they each have their positives, they each have their negatives. And it's, you know, talking about all those things and then factoring in budget and some of that stuff. I'm going to actually come back and correct this. You guys are going to get to see me correct something in a little bit, which is a good thing to know how to do. How do you correct it when you go wrong? But first, I'm going to come around and make this nice little curve here, because I just want it in that space.
Mona was asking, she said, Cinnamon, when you paint, it seems like your paint lasts a long time. The brush strokes, I mean. When I paint, my paint goes dry, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It does. Okay, well, I don't understand that.
So there's not enough fluidity to your paint, and that generally comes down to not enough water in the brush and the fluidity of the paint. So when I used to teach these live, there'd be somebody and they'd be just like, oh my God, I have no talent. Like everyone else can paint and the stuff is happening. And they'd be just panicking and melting down. I'd come by and I'd dip the brush in water and be like, try it now, it's life changing. And they go, oh my God. And what that really is that these are heavy bodied paints unless you're painting a fluid paint. And so like inks, they have flow and your bristles pull up so much of the pigment into it. And if it doesn't have enough fluidity, if it doesn't have enough water or gel medium or whatever you're using to extend the paint, it just doesn't have a good flow. The other thing that you can check is that sometimes your brushes just simply don't pull up the paint effectively. They're just not good at it. Or they're overly soaky uppy. Like that's why you would never use a watercolor brush on acrylic painting. It's because they soak up too much water and then everything gets just soppy and messy. And they're too soft.
Well,
yeah.
So was looking at your brush stroke, and they were noticing how smooth it was. And so there were some questions about one, you know, do you how do you end the branch? Do you flick it or do you keep consistent pressure? Because
I lighten. It's as if so you could visualize. I'll do it on this one here. So my plane is exiting tarmac and it's coming, but now it's going to take off and it's going to go up into the sky.
You want to pick up the canvas and bring us in on that so we can see that? That's great. So, and there's also some folks who are having trouble with their hand being a little shaky.
Yes.
Is there a technique that will help them with that?
Yeah. Now I'm a little wet here, so I have to be careful. You'd have to, like, when your canvas is wet, then you have to look for dry spots or create dry spots.
Or use a bridge.
You can buy a bridge like the oil painters do, which is a little wood rester that comes up and down that you can rest your hand on. But basically, if you rest your hand, I must stabilize my canvas here, otherwise I won't make my point. You can use your hand to stabilize your stroke. You can use your wrist. You can use your wrist as a bridge. Or buy a bridge, if you want also. And both of those things work really, really, really well.
Now, you just use that sprayer there to keep your paint moist
Yep.
under all these hot lights, right?
Yes.
Now, would that work for people at home who are painting maybe a little slower and their paints are
Yes.
drying?
Yes.
Is that good for them too?
You can do slow dry blending medium to slow down the drying times of your paints. You can use palette wetting spray, which is by Liquitex, and I don't know, it's like $20 a bottle. And it's wonderful because it won't thin your paint or affect the paint in any way as you spray it. It's got a whole bunch of stuff that it does. Or you can just mist it with water. I just mist it with water.
Yeah, that seems to work.
Well, I'm not, you know what, I'm not painting for a museum here, right? I'm painting for joy and I'm painting for life. And so I'm not trying to think about all these crazy things about the pigment loads and the longevity of the painting and all that nonsense. Right? And that's what a lot of those mediums and gels are about. So see, I'm just kind of trying to break up my tree and tell branchy little stories. Every time I paint one of these trees, they take on a slightly different personality, as they should. And I'll be like, oh, I'm filling branches there, and I'm just looking for places.
Hey,
Again, trick, go long.
Hi,
Go
Shannon.
long. Hi, Shannon.
Shannon Green, I just saw her.
Shannon Green was in here? Or is she in? Is she out? Or is she
she's
in?
in there commenting. I just saw her crawl
Oh,
through.
goodness. There's nothing like a Shannon commenting.
She may be instigating trouble. I'm going to have to look.
Oh, well, it's always the best kind of trouble. It's like the kind that is fun.
See if she needs to be moderated.
No, I think she is the moderator. She doesn't need to be moderated. I actually got to go with Shannon recently to the art asylum and then eat at the Reggae Hut. And we know each other via YouTube and our collaboration group. And because we have an art YouTube collaboration group, because artists are awesome, because we do that. But but you know each other on YouTube. We actually got to go meet in 3 dimensions, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Emmy the Mastermind is on there too. I saw
Hi,
her.
Emmy.
I see her scrolling by. Just some friendly faces that we've seen before. Just wanting to say hello.
No, I'm super grateful. I'm always surprised when anyone shows up for this. I'm like, somebody's here. Woohoo!
And the Frugal Crafter came by.
Is she still there?
She's here saying hello.
Hi, Lindsay. Hi. So I would say go over and check out the Frugal Crafter, but y'all already have. Because that would be crazy if you had not. So just arc it down.
I noticed.
Come up. This is a really great channel. I really liked her video on Patreon. She's also in our art collaboration group. Not to be all braggy.
You have some awesome people hanging out with you in your collaboration
We
group.
do. There are some of the coolest artists in our artist collaboration group. They're like amazing. It's pretty bananas. So say you have some branches that got, they just bugged you. They just got out of hand. They went a place you didn't like, or they were doing something you didn't like. Try to find another good, bright. So many of these things because I buy them on sale. And then I abuse the heck out of them. Why you never put your brush in water and just leave it?
How's your Sippy doing over there?
My Sippy is so good.
Oops, wrong
Have
button.
we all sent love and light to Bunny in our hearts today?
I think that every time we Sippy we.
Bunny gets her gets her wings, like she gets a little more powerful. I don't know.
I think
something
every
good.
time we Sippy, a gator gets its wings. Is how it works.
Swamp family rules.
Okay. I
Okay,
recall.
so this branch is bothering me just a titch, and this branch is bothering me just a titch. So I'm going to come in here, and even though this is black, I'm going to start working this out.
Now, is this something that you can just go and paint right over this?
Yeah, pretty much. Unlike life, in acrylic paint, once it's dry, it's erasable.
Okay, so you had to make sure it was dry first.
Yeah, it's dry. You can just take it out. And there's 2 awesome ways that you can erase an acrylic paint. I can't show the second one because it requires a canvas that's cured overnight, but I can describe it. So say you did a background, you let the thing dry overnight, and you were painting some highly detailed thing on the front the next day. If you painted something wrong, you could literally take your squirter bottle and just squirt it and wipe it off, and it would just be gone. Because
Wow.
once this is set, it will do that before the acrylic paint bonds.
Now, you're using a professional grade paint, so it covers really, really well.
Yeah, you'd be working on a student grade paint on this.
So if you were doing a student grade paint, would they want to paint the black on black and purple white first, or with
Well,
a yellow
even here,
maybe?
I'm adding a little white to my mix,
Yeah,
right?
to help get some coverage on it.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I would do.
And that's because the zinc and titanium cover very well.
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, no zinc on this.
No zinc on this.
This is titanium.
This is titanium, but
Yeah.
typically the zinc whites and the titanium
Zinc
whites.
will not.
Zinc will not.
is translucent, which is why we like to use it for atmosphere and clouds.
Ah, okay.
That would be the difference between those whites. I'm gonna come in here and try to work this guy out because he's annoying me. He got a little thick on me,
Looks
not
like-
in the good way.
We have a bunch of CAC members here, and they're all cool kids.
They're all cool kids. Yeah. Yeah, the whole CAC, the CAC Creative Arts Collaboration is all cool kids. I think it's made art much more fun on YouTube in general. Certainly much more fun to do. And hopefully much more fun to view. So you can see how I took that offending brush out.
Can you
and
pull that up here real close so we can see that? I want to see how it... So yeah, you just painted it right on out.
Yeah, he's painting out. You may not be able to paint out all the offending things that you don't like in your life, but you can paint them out in your painting.
We can try.
We can try. And there's just, and I might come in here with a little more burnt sienna and then how I get the blend here, like when I'm trying to sort of seam. If you've ever done makeup, this is sort of an easy concept, but it's about a light feathering pressure to just work it out and blend that edge and start to hide it. And then once that's dry, you can go paint that branch back in where it was supposed to be. And I'm gonna dry it right here.
Well, turn that down. And if while Cinnamon's doing that, everyone could take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps YouTube know that you guys are here and that you like the show and you want us to do. Did all these cameras turn off? This one did. Turn this one on. On. Yep. We're back over there. I'm still rolling. Make sure my broadcaster is back up. Or you may be back live. Yep, it looks like you're back. So, woohoo, that was exciting. Let's make sure that we're back up here. Oh.
Too many things plugged in.
Okay, I got the volume back up. Oh, we can see us now. I think we're back.
Are we back?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Let me go back over, and that was exciting.
This is why we're just having nice roll down. So apparently, in your own house, don't turn on a whole bunch of fluorescent lighting, and then all your computers and some broadcasting stuff, and let your kids on their devices, and then turn on the hairdryer.
And we had the air conditioner going full blast in here, and we have all these lights on. We have and then she turns the hairdryer on, so it's like, it wasn't enough. We just, we just keep piling it on. So, but it was great because the UPS stayed up, so we kept the connection going on the broadcaster.
So everyone is still there?
Yeah, it looks like everybody's still here. They're all
Wow.
waiting for us.
That is a nice crowd to see, like, if we're okay. So I'm going to just paint this branch back in kind of more of how I want it. And that might seem nitpicky, but you know what? Sometimes you're just like, no, I really want you there, and that's just how I feel about it. And there we go. That's our tree. This is the base of our tree. This tree is really all in the color anyways. This is sort of like the clothes that you're going to hang everything on. I'm going to show you how to do the roots real quick. They kind of trip everybody out, but this is just a really good art skill. Now, if you're really freaked out, you could, say, take some chalk, right? And there's just nothing wrong with this. And draw what you think you might like to be like, you know, around there. And I generally like to make these sort of a reflection of what's going on in the tree. So I'm just showing you this is an option. But honestly, in general, you would just paint the negative space here, which is sort of an interesting thing to be able to do. But so whatever you've got going on and whatever tree design that you have happening, you should probably reflect it in your roots to give it a continuity in design. Just a thought feeling that I have. Now I'm going to take my Glumpy Burnt Sienna.
We're going to take a quick look here.
Paved through the nose for.
It looks like we're having some technical difficulties with the sync. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the feed just for a moment. And this is some experimenting. So I think this should work. So we're going to go ahead and stop our stream, and then we're going to start it right back up. So hold on.
If we stop it, don't they go away?
No. Just on our end. It's one of the cool technologies. They should everything hang out. So we're just going to restart our feed. So hold on just a second.
Let me know.
We should be restreaming right now. So hopefully that stream will go right back up.
It's like, you know what? You have to really sort of take this from belief and be like, oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to just believe things are fixed now.
I think we're back up. So we can take a sippy while everyone talks for a second, because everyone's really, they're hanging with us. They're like, yeah, take some time, get it worked out. They want us to have it right. So and it looks like it's in sync. It looks like that worked. So this
feels like I need a refill.
It was a good experiment to know that we needed to be able to do that. We could blow a breaker and the computer stays up and running. And
you know what? In Texas, that is a good thing to know, because we get some storms.
Oh man,
So now I haven't added a lot of water to my brush on this blue mixture that I've done. I've kept this a fairly dry brush. And I'm going to do and I might try to bring it up here so you can really see this. I'm going to keep this a fairly light pressure so that what is underneath here, right, is sort of showing through, that the canvas, it's picking the tooth of the canvas. There's the tooth. You get some whites. Some of it's going to be lighter. Oh, thank you. Mr. Tiki. We'll get a refilly. And I'm just, again, you'll notice that I'm not adding any water to the mixture. This is burnt sienna and phthalo blue and white, which is pretty much most skies. I will do some combo of that. I have a pretty set palette that I'm sort of doing around my chalk. But you could also just do this where you just paint the roots from the opposite side, but that gets to be a little bit of a mental exercise. Did anyone see any of that?
Yeah, I think we can. I really like how painterly those brush strokes are.
I love that. I mean, artists were such con artists. We're like, oh no, it's painterly, it's expressive.
So I've been paying a lot of attention to the technical issues. I'm gonna go back over here and make sure I didn't miss any awesome comments.
Probably like
you can take a sippy on this next one. Oh, actually, I'm gonna let you paint this thing, because this looks. I really like how the blue comes in on this.
Yeah, I like it too.
It reminds me a lot of the Van Gogh palette, and the blue in your hat. By the way, your hat looks fantastic. Some people were commenting on the wonderful hat. Did you make it?
I did. This one I made.
You made this hat?
This hat This is, I think the first one where I was like, I realized I wasn't able to get an Etsy hat made in time for something, and I was like, I better make me a hat. And I did. And you remember, I used to make hats a lot when we were first married.
Yeah, we made lots of
A
stuff.
lot of weird things.
Jewelry. Pens.
Pens. Yeah, I remember that. That was our date.
We
thing
did.
As
We,
we
our
started
date
wood
night was
turning.
pens. That's right.
We made all these pens.
What blue are you using there?
So this is phthalo blue. I do use ultramarine in my own fine art practice, but mostly I like phthalo. It has a pure high pigment, and I enjoy that very much, and it has a tendency not to gray out unless I make it gray out.
And why would it gray out?
Well, so like when I take the burnt sienna and I add it in here, the red in the sienna, in the blue, and the yellow create a tertiary color, which is just a little bit knocked back. We like to say it's knocked back or grayed out, and that's about this wonderful thing we like to call the color wheel. And when colors live on opposite directions from each other on the wheel, and you work them together, they'll create grayed out colors, and they're not necessarily bad. I mean, you'll see your kids do it when they mix like all the paint together, like on the palette, and then it's like a zombie color, you know, and it's like that. But if you work, say, like a dog's name purple and a cat yellow against each other, you create an amazing painting. If you do it on purpose. And so that is one of my little secret things that I do, is this burnt sienna and this phthalo blue. You'll see a lot of oil artists do this.
Which
and
one now?
This is really the stuff right here when you start working these two against each other.
Gotcha.
That's the money shot right there. Because, you know, you've got all these little artists like to make green with the color black in Jello. I generally, except when I'm doing silhouettes, do not use black in my paintings.
Now, one of our community was saying that
Our artists. They're our
artists.
artists. They're our art family.
Our parish was asking, in the Windsor Newton line, they don't seem to have a phthalo blue. Is there what would they have as an equivalent there? Do you know offhand?
That actually would shock me. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look that up. Sometimes I've noticed the paint companies will call a blue something else, and then when you look on the back, it will have like its technical paint name. And I don't have a tube of Windsor Newton on me at the moment to look at, but I have them back in the studio, and I will look.
We also have Google.
Yeah, and I have Google, and I write those people, and when they don't know who I am, they answer. YouTube shows that just use their paint and say whatever they like are really scary to them, though. It's like, wait, you might be off message. I'm like, well, don't give me glumpy paint.
Well, perhaps it's Windsor blue, because that's their brand, their name.
No, I think Windsor blue is a historic.
Is that a historic blue?
Yeah.
I don't know. See, that tells you how much I know about paint.
But it's really cool.
I know about, you know, the camouflage paint,
It's true.
and I know about primer paint.
We kind of went a little slow on this little part down here.
It's really pretty. I like how. Can you pick that up and show how thick? So how that paintbrush. You didn't mix the paint on that paintbrush. You had a lot of white on one side of it. That's really good. Thank you.
So you see those little chalk lines? When this is all dry, I can take a very lightly damp washcloth, not a baby wipe, and everyone's laughing, but no, not a baby wipe. Don't do it. And get the chalk off. The tooth on the baby wipe might pull the paint before it sets, which is why I'm saying don't do baby wipe, especially if you're doing student paints. It's very easy to lift them. But when this is all, you can take like a nice soft cloth and a little mister and get it all off. And oh, watercolor pencils are also fabulous for sketching in acrylic paint because they just disappear into the painting. So now I'm going to get a detail brush and a little round detail, and I'm going to load it up, and I'm going to start the best, happiest part of this. And what I really would like to suggest about this is have a lark, have some fun. So the Bohemian Tree, I've seen these done a bunch of different ways. I did this a year ago, kind of at the beginning of this thought creative process, and I've seen them with they're all flowers. The dots are all flowers. The dots are all hearts. They're all real close together and fill up all the space, or they're spaced out. And what I would say is this is the place in the painting, like once I just show you the process, where you should really let your creative bug shine. And yeah, you can follow along and do every dot that I do, and that's totally okay. And that's gonna get you great painting, but it is a fun, safe place for you to play and have some fun.
Well, one of our artists, Michelle, was asking a question about the blue that you painted down there over the black.
Yes.
Wouldn't it have been easier just to paint the blue, the roots in after? Or why did you paint the blue over the black instead of the black roots over the blue hill?
Because of there's an art movement. Sometimes people aren't really sure what this terminology means, and it kind of gets their hackles up, but it's actually quite complimentary. You'll hear it referred to as a naive or outsider art movement. And what that basically means is that these artists haven't come through traditional educational methods of art. So they haven't been contaminated by all the rules and expectations that you might go through traditionally in an art school. So they'll come to their art outcomes in these really unexpected ways. And one of the things that I really loved among these artists was this particular painting technique, where they would paint out a shape or an object, or they'd leave a black outline in a flower, where they would paint all the space around it, and the object would be revealed through it, and you just don't get that look any other way. Sometimes too much training, too much thinking about something will kind of ruin an effect. And if you look at this, the chalk is kind of...
The chalk goes away, but it's...
Yeah, but it's there's this sort of rough, fresh expression about it that I wouldn't get if I put these in. They would be too clean. And
the background really looks like it's engaged with the roots there instead of the roots, just being on top of the background.
So it's just a fabulous technique that has been developed by artists that,
they
were
brave outsiders.
Enough. Huh?
They were outsiders.
No, they're not outsiders. You have to realize with terms like that, it's just the art world trying to talk about art in a gallery when they're looking at a very tight, considered oil painting, and they're looking at an expressive painting that's taken a lot of non-traditional choices, and they're trying to develop a language to talk about it. And so they might say somebody's a classically trained painter, and they're very tight, and they ascribe to the Hudson School, and they'll say all this, and they'll say somebody's an outsider artist, and they're very raw, and they aspire to the brutalist. And all this is just words to describe what we know the minute we see it.
Cool. Well, I think that helped me. I think it helped everyone else out there seems to be enjoying it. I didn't know that stuff.
But in the wrong hands, it sounds hoity-toity and really pretentious. So I'm just making some dots, and I'm gonna go around, and here's my little thing on dots. Some of my dots will be small, and some of my dots will be big. I'm gonna vary my sizes. I'm gonna leave room for other colors of dots.
Where did you learn all this stuff about art? You're growing up around your mom. She probably taught you a lot, right?
No, because you know what? Children never listen to their parents, and I don't think I was any different.
So where did you pick all this stuff up at?
I went to art school. It's really what it is. I went to art school. I took a lot of workshops. I definitely painted with my mom in the studio all the time, but again, like any kid, of course, I just couldn't listen to anything that I was being told. But we went to a lot of workshops together. She made sure I had a lot of materials. She made sure I had art books to read. She made sure I was exposed by workshops, and I went to a art school with a pretty unusual art instructor.
And you had a lot of support as a kid growing up for art.
Tremendous. Like, with art materials and opportunities, they were endless.
Yeah, can you pick it up and show? Those are not perfect circles.
No.
Those are just
and
little.
Should not be.
Yeah, they're just little roundish dots that look But when they get farther away from there, they do start to look perfect because we lose some of that pixel edge, and that's because the cameras. But
Yeah,
not,
but your eye will love and be attracted to things that are less than perfect.
yeah.
You know, the perfection is in the imperfections sometimes.
And it's your right to do it your way.
So, but I mean, I think now my mom influences me in her art, or I influence her because we can work together.
Well, your peers.
You have to listen to us. We bicker a little bit. Not in a bad way. You know, have different ways we come to these results, and we'll be like debating them. But we travel and paint together a lot.
Yeah, you went to France together.
Mm-hmm.
And you went to Sweden, as you spoke about earlier with her.
Oh yeah, I traveled all over Europe because it was my job to find the poppy fields.
And you found them.
I did. That's just basically farmers that don't treat for poppies is what that is. Lazy farmers. Just gotta look for a farmer that just wasn't working that field. In Italy, Spain. And I also worked in my mom's art studio for a number of years out of art college.
Well, that's right. And you helped her with a lot of her painting design and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So I was definitely studio assistant for a long time. We did some traditional apprenticeship stuff going on.
It's true, you did.
And I think that's probably where I got in the hot. Well, I've always worked big, but I think that her working big probably influenced my working big.
Yeah, I would say that she is not afraid of big canvases, and that was probably really good because you aren't either.
No, and nor is she slow. She's very quick.
Yeah, she's a very fast painter. And she uses big brushes with a lot of paint too.
Yeah. Or palette knives.
Yeah, and palette knives. So she is, you use a lot smaller brushes. She uses the big brushes and just goes at it.
Well, on the big
The big
canvases, I'll
rocks
get
and
on
the
the bigger
waves.
brushes. You just size your brush to the canvas you're dealing with. So, see, I'm just still doing blue dots now. If we were doing this like in pre-production, I would just like fast forward through y'all watching me do these dots. But see how I've varied the sizes?
And just to remind everyone, we did enable the DVR functionality so that you can, if you're in Amsterdam and you need to hit pause and walk the pig, you can do that.
What does that even mean,
And that
John?
means that Suzanne in Amsterdam has to hit pause so that she can go walk the pig.
Oh, that's not a euphemism. She has an actual pig.
She actually has a
walk.
pig and a dog
Oh,
that she has to walk.
is that the pig that watches me? There's
There's a
fabulous
pig
pig that
watches
watches me. Oh my goodness.
So she has to walk the pig.
Yes, walk him. He's so sweet. He's so cute. So now you'll notice that I've taken some of these dots off the canvas to imply that this universe goes beyond what I'm seeing here. Little touches, little things that make it sort of beautiful. Sometimes I do take you guys around a harder bend, but I had this dream where, you get all the little painting skills and then you can just go to any old artist retreat or art workshop that you want to, and you're like, man, I know everything they're talking about. And we've had that happen a few times where people have gone to an art retreat and known everything that was being said to them, understood every terminology.
Your mom has a YouTube channel too, doesn't she?
She is Ginger Cook Live.
And she does the obviously live broadcasts.
Mm-hmm. She has an online live school.
And she teaches. Do you know when she is it Thursdays? She broadcasts
I think
once a
there's
week.
Wednesdays. She's got a live Wednesday, but she's got a live one coming up Tuesday evening.
Yeah, we should get her schedule so we can share it up here because we get asked a lot.
Yeah, she's got she is John Little, and he helps her. That's her assistant on her broadcast.
He's a great
guy. So
guy.
I've just got yellow and white here, and that's how I'm making these dots.
So,
and now her stuff, if you don't catch it, you don't see it. So you really, if you want to catch a broadcast, you've got to catch a broadcast with her, because once it's over, then you've got to pay for the class. So you've got to catch it while it's up. And the class that she puts up for her paid class is not the class that you were in. She pre-tapes and does the instruction of the class. So what you get in a live class is very special. It's unique and will never happen again.
Like the opening of a flower.
See, don't say that, because then my mom will go use it.
Oh, it's okay. She can use that one.
And I'll have to hear about it. I'm like the opening of a flower. John said so. And I'll be like, John! Now, one of the little tricks that you can use is you're putting in your base dots, because the trick will be about layering and creating patterns in these. This is a lot like doodling and will, by the way, drop your blood pressure while it's happening. You'll actually have a physical drop in blood pressure whenever you're doodling.
Did you hear
Doodling is
you
good
hear
for
that,
you.
doodlers? You should go right. You should, as soon as you're done with this video, you should go out there and find yourself a doodle video and doodle to lower your blood pressure.
Well, this'll do it too. The little dot work will
Yep.
do it. Because you're just looking for little spaces to put these little dots. Now I'm going to do an interesting thing here. I'm going to come get some paint. And I'm going to make sure that some of my, and I'm going to find dry ones, because otherwise I'll just get, well, I'm just going to get green now. Look, I'm just getting green. Just go with it. What is it Bob used to say? Happy accidents. Painting like this, you don't have to stress over it.
Now, Lindsay's also been in here, and she's a channel friend of yours. What's her channel about?
Lindsay,
Yeah, we had a couple people asking.
the Frugal Crafter.
Yeah, they weren't familiar with her.
Okay, so Lindsay has a fantastic channel. She does daily uploads, different projects, watercolors, beading, just every kind of crafting thing. She's a couple really talented girls that also have a crafting channel, the Crafting Twins. There really isn't anything like it. And she also has a program for working artists to make money, because it's actually okay. It's not bad for working artists to make money. They should be allowed to do that.
To live off your craft.
Oh, yes, they're allowed to live off their craft. And she advocates very hard for other artists, which I really appreciate. And her channel is just gorgeous. She did these cherries the other day in oils that I rather enjoyed. And she did some cosmos flowers recently that I really, really enjoyed. She has some beautiful projects.
Cosmos flowers. That sounds interesting.
I might be saying this wrong. I think they're cosmos. Are they Cosmo?
I don't know.
Aren't they cosmos, the purple flowers?
I don't know.
Real pretty.
Sippy
and some
sippy.
lupines,
We're
too.
gonna parachute sippy sippy.
Parachute chippy.
It's like whatever. It's like I don't know the answer. Quick, sippy sippy. That's the parachute.
But it's just a lot of fun, and you know, you never know what you're going to find there, and it's always a surprise. And also sometimes you get to see a lot of products that you might want to know about, but you wouldn't want to go out and buy to find out if they were good or not.
Yeah, that's a.
You know, I'm going to actually intentionally make some green now, just because I feel like it. So I've just mixed yellow and blue.
I knew that one.
Did you know that one?
I knew that one. Although I wasn't going to say it because sometimes I'm wrong.
I love it when you're wrong. Now, you've taken my mom's painting party class.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
It was a tree that I did badly.
Yeah, it was.
It was a bad tree. My mom loved it, though. She took the
Mom
tree
did.
and hung it on the wall.
Put that right in the
doesn't-
office.
It doesn't matter if you're 4 or 40. Your mom will take that painting and hang it on the wall.
That has been one of the things that I think is really true, is that never goes away, does it?
I don't think it does. I mean, because I know I'll take any painting that Honey does and hang it on the wall.
Oh, yeah, Honey's a really good artist, though.
Yeah, she does.
Actually, all kids are kind of amazing artists. So, yeah, and it's okay in here if you have an art YouTube channel to talk about it. We're all friends. We don't mind. It's like, I mean, some stuff there. So I'm starting to build these weird little whimsical patterns. I feel like when I'm up close,
you can really see them. Yeah, they look really good. So when you're up close, you can see these are not perfect dots,
Ow.
and it's not, and the paint is transparent. You're not getting full coverage with this.
No.
You're intentionally letting some of the underside show through here.
Yeah, I'm being all mellow about it.
And those dots, it's I liked the dot where you made the imperfect little dots inside of it.
Yes.
And that imperfection really does add to.
And you have seen me paint, and you know I have a tendency to over tighten, get over architectural, and so
you really have to work. You work at being loose like this.
I do. I had to do a daily painting to loosen up.
And
it had to break me.
And you find that those daily paintings where you're forced to do loose work helps you see that value.
Yes. Yeah, when I have just a short amount of time and I got to do it every day. I got really inspired by Carol Marine. That she's a dangerous woman to follow because she'll lead you down the merry path of daily painting.
And Shannon.
And Shannon. Did Shannon say something?
No, she's here. She's here around somewhere.
Hi, Shannon.
She was here earlier. I saw her.
Now Shannon has a really great channel too. She has a journaling by fives thing, which is again about breaking up that rigid fear and stiffness and everything. And you get in there, and she was explaining it to me about how they do it, and it's like amazing. That'll if you're blocked, that'll unblock you. It's like art fiber, but fine.
I don't. There's a question in channel on whether or not I was able to unlock the links so that they could share in comments, and I didn't enable that because I didn't know how. But
after it's over, go ahead and go ahead and post your links. I don't mind.
In the comments.
If you're a sunglass company, I'll take you down. If you're an art and crafter on YouTube, I will not take you down. If you got sunglasses though, I got no help for you. I'm just saying.
They're not in channel. Unless they're like pixel sunglasses. Yeah. They have to be like some really cool sunglasses.
Well, I think that'll be okay. I'm sure somebody will find a reason why I'm like, this is not cool anymore. But no, seriously, it is okay. I know it feels like, oh, I don't want to be spammy, or I don't want to like promote my own channel or anything. But I also want to know who's here and who's out there making art like I'm doing this on YouTube. So it's nice to see. Well, so I don't mind.
I'm envious of Papasuka 2009, who's in is Michelle, who's in San Diego painting right now, which is clearly going to be much better weather than what we're having here.
Yeah. I was born in Aspen, Colorado, and grew up in San Diego.
And your dad's still there?
Yes, my dad is still in San Diego because he won't leave. He doesn't believe the rest of the country exists.
I know. I'm like totally with him. I don't know that I would leave San Diego if I had an opportunity to move there. What is Shannon's channel called?
Shannon Green.
Is it just Shannon Green?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought
it has this really cool kind of like patterned eyeball there. You'll know when you're there. You can see a little patterned eyeball. And she does, I think it's 3 or more uploads a week.
Yeah. Some Sherpa friends.
Sherpa friends. Hi, Sherpa friends. And then Junkin' Data Girl, the Junkin' Data Girl, you need to tell her that she needs to upload because it's been a while.
She needs to come collaborate with us.
Yeah, she needs to upload. She needs to make some content. Put it up and get it out there. And as does Auntie Bernie. Well, she actually does get some stuff up there, but
calling people out, like, make some content.
You know what? It's good for us. It's good for us to share what we're doing. I don't know if it's good to share it live. We're going to find out. I don't know how that changes everything. Now, see, I'll make some that are open. And I know this is sort of like watching cement dry. I'm just making circles. Oh, my God.
But my blood pressure has gone down. Isn't that the purpose? We're all having fun?
Yeah, the purpose is that we all have fun. So hopefully I have some nice purple left, and I'm going to grab some white so it's pretty.
So there's some of our artists are pretty sure that I'm trying to introduce them to the floor because we're doing so many sippy sippies, but I'm gonna say that you need another sippy sippy.
So there's definitely a threshold, right, where you can drink and paint?
We haven't found it yet.
That would be very interesting to, like, not that that's good for your liver or anything, but have a game like how long can you keep painting while you're doing shots or something.
That's a blacklight painting party.
That's a blacklight painting party.
Game.
Getting the purples in there. I think purple is very important as a color. Now I'm doing open dots, but you know, hey, you could get in here, you could turn these all into flowers and that would be beautiful. You could fill it solid with dots. I'm not going to because YouTube already thinks I'm ridiculous with the length of my broadcasts.
And if you guys could help us going out, like, comment, and subscribe. Those likes and comments really help YouTube know that you guys are here and you like what's going on.
Because they're convinced this is the craziest thing you could do.
Long format process videos.
They're like, nobody will watch that. Can you do it in 15 minutes? Well, I mean, yeah, I could speed this all up, but then nobody would be able to paint it. It's not cool. I'm going to hide a circle here. Half a circle. You wouldn't know that you should hide half circles behind the tree. How would you know that?
We're gonna send some love to Mary.
Mary, yes. Why, is Mary good?
Mary is just joining us today. She can't paint because she's taking a siesta, some rest from recovery. But
Hi,
she's
Mary.
here with us. So
Thank you for coming anyways. So yeah, at some point that this just gets to be about finding the spots and then looking for them, and it just starts to fill. It just starts to be something at some point. You know, you can have any color story here that you want. It's your story. Nobody can tell you what to do here. Give you advice, but they should not be telling you what to do. So how are we doing? Anything interesting?
pretty good. Why don't you pull this up? Your mom's channel is called Ginger Cook
Live.
Ginger Cook Live. Okay.
Because like her whole thing is she does that live broadcast on her subscription channel like 3 times a week.
Why don't you pull that up here so we can take a closer look at it, so we can see these wonderful little,
wonky dots.
Yeah, it's good for people to see that they're not perfect. That they're
even.
Yeah, there's lots of character and flavor to these bohemian dots that are floating out there in space. Right?
And it's fun stuff. Yeah. Honestly, in paintings, the truth is completed is the most important thing. A finished painting. When I was out with Shannon and we were at the art asylum, I ran into a gorgeous in-process oil painting. They'd done it in the wrong order, but for figure, and it was highly realistic. It was very well done, and there was these really wonderful bits sketched, and it was based on it looks like religious illuminations, but with a modern context. And they just done this one character in the band in the canvas, and as good as it was, finished is always much more important. You got to finish the painting. It's important to finish.
You know, I'm gonna throw up the original painting here just next to it, so you can see.
Yeah, because it's a little different. They'll be different every time.
Yeah, and you can see there's a lot of dots, and
I'm just still here. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We can take our time. We have
there's
plenty.
There's just no way to do this. That's why I never rushed up here to do Bohemian Tree, because I'm like, no one is gonna sit through these dots.
Well, this is a great opportunity for us to have some sippy community time where we can answer some questions and spend some time.
Seriously, you can't taste this, but it is just some yummy sangria of tropicalness.
Yep. So how do you know which brush to use? Do you just randomly go in there and go, I think a Filbert? Because I would always use a Filbert because it's called a Filbert. I would master that. That would be my thing.
So brushes have strengths and weaknesses, and I will look at a Filbert and I'll think I need a real soft edge, but I don't need to have a lot of control around the turns, around the corners. So I can, like a Filbert's great for background or for very, like in skin tones and faces and things when you're trying to blend things out. I'll get into the brights when I need to have a lot of control suddenly around edges or lines. I'll get into the rounds when I'm doing things like dots or particular types of details within eyes. fan brushes, nobody kill me for this because I love Bob. Outside of that tree technique, don't really use them a lot. But
Yeah.
I always have some in the studio just in case I feel like making a happy little tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very cool. And I mean, and a lot of people like to use them for grass, and you could, but I would get the grass in another way always. But you could totally use them for grass. So
you're putting some more paint down?
I'm going to put some white down because I kind of lost control of my white here.
You corrupted the white?
I did. And you know what? I put out my yellow ochre and
You haven't
never
touched
used it. So
Yeah, it's just like it's been like all lonely there.
yeah, I didn't even use it. So that's just a waste of some beautiful paint.
And your water, you're adding some water to that?
Yeah. Yeah. One, it's dry, and that one is also going a little glumpy. I don't know what they're doing with these paints, but they do something with them. So I'm going to put a little red dot in here and outline and start getting some red in places. And you can see where I'm like, you know, the people who are like, I'm going to fill up all the space. Dude, they're at it for a couple of days. They're like, they're making happy little dots for a couple of days. And that's okay. That is okay. Your Bohemian tree may be very, very bohemian.
Well, that's okay.
Totally okay. You know, you're just looking for places that you can add to the story, add to the layer.
I'm preemptively switching channels here.
Why?
I don't know. I'm anticipating your movement too quickly.
Are ya? I'm messing with you?
Messing with me.
This has been a weird, interesting experience in our marriage, hasn't it? Because you're having to like get to know me in this other space. Because it's not like when I paint normally, like you're in the studio with me.
No, I'm just here heckling you.
Yeah.
This is, I don't actually have to do anything. You know, I just have to sit here and talk about awesome comments.
So see, like as I'm adding this layering.
And we support sippy of tea and
Water.
water.
Stay hydrated.
Definitely stay hydrated. It's just a Saturday afternoon, and we're...
Well, it's Saturday evening for us. That's completely an appropriate time for me. Plus, you know, man, it's kind of nice. These broadcasts, it's really exciting to do classes live because I usually am in here talking this much, but no one's actually here. So one always feels a little bit out of one's mind.
A little psychotic at times.
It I mean, just some, right?
Well, I edit it, so you know I get to look at you.
Well,
so it's like
I
you're talking
edit
to
it
me.
too.
So I don't know if I feel all that crazy because when I'm editing it, I feel like you're just talking to me.
I don't know. I have to edit them too, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Oh, I guess I'm gonna put that up anyways. Which is why I'm like pretty cool when someone's like, you talk too much and sing too much. I'm like, yeah, I know. I just saw it.
Yeah, if you don't like singing and funny hats and strange paintings, probably this is not the channel for you. But if you do like those things, please comment, like, and subscribe. Look, I can plug. I mean, look, I can even do some gratuitous. Oh, look at that. We have graphics up there too.
What's going on?
I'll put some gratuitous, like, you know.
Oh, I so
shot
appreciate
graphics.
that. I love going on Periscope and giving loves, the little hearts. My daughter comes by and she's like, what are you doing? What are all those hearts about? I'm like, I'm just loving a friend. Helping him out. Telling Periscope this is good. I don't go exploring around Periscope, I'll tell you that right now. I just go to the artists I know that are on there and watch what they've got going on. Because I suspect the rest of that is pretty scary out there. See, I'm just sort of...
You want to pull it back up here so we can see some more of it?
You want to see up close again?
Yeah, of the red, because we haven't seen any up close of the red, and it looks like some of those are...
We're getting there. You know, it's like you're looking for little spots to put a dot, and you're like, what size dot do I want? Oh, I probably need...
We have an important social media education question.
All right.
What is Periscope?
Periscope is this new platform by Twitter where it has live broadcasts that go out from people's phones, and you can just watch it. You can comment, you can give loves and see what's going on. it's been really great for artists because we can just like, boom, this is what's happening in the studio right now, and talk to people, and they can be like, hi, how are you doing? And it works with Twitter. It's like Snapchat though, so the content isn't up for like more than 24 hours. It's like here and gone. Here and gone. I feel like I did not in the original, but I feel like putting in some white.
You can put some white in.
I feel like it.
And maybe some of that raw umber you haven't used?
No, I don't. First of all, it's a burnt sienna.
Burnt sienna? Okay.
Yeah, I don't
sorry.
have any raw umber. But now here's an interesting thing. In my personal fine art palette, I always have burnt umber. But I limited my palettes for YouTube because I felt like it was unfair to make people go out and buy like a whole bunch of colors that I was excited about, but that would be very cost prohibitive for them to have to get everything. It's more important that people paint to me.
Pick up the brush.
Yeah. Much more important that they take up the brush.
So what does Bohemian refer to? Because this is the Bohemian Tree. So when in art we're talking about Bohemian, what does that even mean?
Well, I believe, and I could be wrong on this, but I believe it refers to a cultural movement where people took on a much more sort of free-spirited, inspired by nature and organic, almost nouveau sensibility. Artists like Mackenzie Childs spearheaded that, and even the nouveau artists are often in that. You'll see it's supposed to imply that when you look at the design sensibilities, if somebody is a world traveler, as if they're a free spirit and they've gone around and collected little bits of color and objects and identity from here and there and assembled them together in a life. So garmentry and artistry and furniture that's designed in that should feel as if it's from everywhere and nowhere.
Yep. So your lamp behind you is very bohemian.
It is now. It didn't used to be.
It used to be chic. So someone was asking, what is that little lamp behind you over there?
That is called a rain lamp, and it was real big in the 70s. And I was, that would normally be edited out. So that happened live.
A sneeze. So it's a rain lamp.
Yeah, it's a rain lamp, and it uses oil.
And
there's several styles. There's usually a naked girl in there. There's the windmill, and I think there's one other, and you can get plants.
You have to slide over so we can see it. Oh, there it goes. So that's the windmill. There you go.
There you go.
And you can kind of see that it's that's the oil dripping down the rails. We'll get some video of it. You can Google them. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, we got into the macrame and some of the retro stuff there for a while. Pretty fun stuff.
We actually have two of those. We have.
See, so we're just trying to add these patterns.
Yeah,
and
can you pull that back
in.
up here? Bring that back up real quick.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, no, yes, sir. No, I wanted to see. So on some of these, you've put some lines in the white around the dots, and again, it's just real loose in all of these.
Yeah, yeah. Try not to get too wound up in the little stuff. I have to do that as an artist too. I can get real wound up. John's seen it. I can get real drilled down and real wound up. And it's fun, but even hyperrealism, sometimes you've got to just relax. And no, I don't, you know, it's real interesting. You can do hyperrealism and get a lot of following on YouTube. It doesn't really help a lot of people paint. It just demonstrates that you can paint. So, and I work very hard to just lighten up from that a little bit. Took a long time to come up with the style you see in my so my style is much closer to what you see in my speed paints, like the deer.
Yep.
And the eagle. But that would just, if you think this took a while to teach on YouTube, oh my god.
This has been pretty good. It's been.
Well, no, but if I had to teach like the acrylic color ground stuff, oh, you'll be like, I need to go home, lady. So I'm just looking for places to create unexpected patterns. And just to do stuff that maybe you wouldn't think of, but, you know, put it in there and And you may have to go back to colors that you know, had finished with. Textures you had dealt with already. And you're just trying to sit there and say, where could I put what needs something? Not that anything needs anything, but you're just looking for places that need something. You know, I'm gonna try to decide another color I might enjoy pulling into all of this. See if I can get a cool kind of orangey peach. We'll see how that goes. You know, so this should be colorful. This should be enjoyable to look at. Sort of peach. It may not be vibrant enough. Just working those in there. Looking for space. Filling the space. We're getting there. Trying to decide if I want to use black or not. So how are you guys feeling about this?
Well, there a lot of people seem to think this is a great beginning painting to try. A lot of people are excited to go and get their paints and give it a try.
Yeah, and just, you know, go for it. You're going to be there a little while in the dots, you know, probably longer. I'm going to kind of demo this through the basic idea, and then hopefully what you can do is just come back in and be like, no, I got it.
Just dot it up.
Just dot it up. Whoop it up.
So
now,
you wanna, when you go back to your palette over here, why don't you show everyone what you're using here? This is palette paper, right?
yeah, this is an acrylic palette paper. This one is by Strathmore. Basically, you just any acrylic palette paper. You don't want palette paper for watercolor, and you don't want palette paper for oils because they're different materials. And sometimes they'll say for oils and acrylic, but I like to just make sure that they all say acrylic on brushes too.
Yeah.
The more specialized it is, the better result. Oh, so happy. The better result you will have.
And you just keep that sprayed with a little bit of water to make sure it stays wet.
Yeah,
And
you know, in here, usually I'm working fast enough where the paint's gone before it even thought about drying.
now,
Paint didn't even know what happened to it. I think I'm gonna do a light blue.
well, there was also some questions about, while we're on blue, warm colors versus cool colors.
All right.
What does that mean?
So when someone's talking to you about warm colors, they're talking about the reds, the yellows, the oranges, all the colors that when you look at them feel like they have visual heat. And they will pull from red and yellow. When they're talking about cool colors, those are the ones that will pull more from the blue. So when I'm talking about a dioxazine purple, this purple here, I'm talking about a very cool purple. It's a purple with a higher blue tint to it than a red tint. When they get into the violets, they will have more of a red tint, and that purple will be warmer. In the reds, when I'm talking about cad red versus a crimson, I'm talking about a warm red versus a cool red. So like if you had to exchange my cad red but get a similar effect, you would find a red that felt more yellow to you. And if you were looking for like something that was like a crimson but you couldn't get naphtha crimson, you'd want a red with a little more blue cast to it. So that's really just about where they are on the color scale. And all those canvases you see in the Fine Art Museum where it's like blue stripe, red stripe, that's about figure foreground and warm and cool colors and whether that color feels like it's coming at you or back at you. This is important in landscape painting because you'll want to paint things in the background as if they're further away, so knowing that cool colors further away can really help you as an artist when you're making a decision how to paint that, and warm colors will pull forward to you. So I just went down into the weeds on that, I'm sorry.
Well, that's great. I think that helps. So you're getting some cool blue.
Yeah, I'm just doing like a little sky blue, just some phthalo and some white. I'm getting a little Disney in my sensibility here. But see, that's a neat kind of little pull there. And I think this will be the last color pass I do through this.
Yeah, it looks pretty good there.
Yeah, I'm happy with this. And again, you know, if I was pulling this for sale, I would push it a little further. Always, always, always. But, you know, this is just at some point just got to be for you. Whatever it is that makes you happy, whatever makes you satisfied. I'm really looking forward to stuff that's coming up that we're going to be doing with the show. We're going to have to be like this for a while because we switched out all our equipment.
Well, that's good. You know, we when we're doing this live, we have DVR functions enabled, so people can pause, rewind, and go and fast forward to catch up. You know, they don't. They can be here live with us, so they can comment and channel. And
I really like it. I'm glad we made that transition. Hopefully, everyone else is glad with us.
And hopefully soon we'll be able to have friends come in through video. And
Yeah,
say
that
hello.
I'm excited about, and I'm excited about being able to when we're gonna be back the week of the 17th, and I'm hoping that live like this, we're gonna be back. There'll be some content. There'll be something you should watch Monday that will go up. That'll be short on my thing, telling you about some upcoming stuff that's happening. But when we get back on it on the week of the 17th, I expect blacklight parties to be going on that week. I expect we're gonna do the after parties then, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun.
You know, I think a little after party would be a lot of fun to go to.
Yeah, we could kick the lights on, get some bubbles going.
And
talk
visit over
paint.
there in Google Hangouts.
We could just we could chill out in Google Hangouts with everyone.
And just kind of visit and catch up.
Yeah.
See what's what. What? You know, and just talk about that art experience that we're having. How are we feeling about this light blue?
I like it. I like how it's turning out.
See, this tree is getting very bohemian, isn't it?
Yes.
It's funny how it happens. So, and yeah, we're going to do that again just to demonstrate how childlike and loose and relaxed this all is. Just looking for places to put it, and it really is about distribution. Especially on a piece like this, is finding that balance and the distribution of that balance. I cannot believe people hung in with me. We're getting to the end. I think I'm getting dotted out.
Yeah, we're getting close.
So, and I did it, and everyone's asked for this tree forever, so I feel like, well, at least I gave people the tree. If they want to hang in for it, it's here, and they'll be like, dude, I can do it. It certainly is a good, easy painting to do, even though it might be a little time consuming.
Yeah.
It's a friendly painting.
It's very, very easy to approach.
Yeah.
And you can set it down and then come back to it easily.
Yeah, you really could. So I'm feeling like, woohoo!
That's looking good.
We did this live on YouTube. That's just insane. And you guys did it with me. Thank you for hanging in. Definitely go by and check out the channels we talked about. If you have an art channel, put it up in the comments. And I just saw my son go by. And I will definitely make sure that YouTube doesn't flag it, because sometimes it does. It goes, oh, it's. You want to say hi to everybody? Let's say hi, and you should be in bed.
Hi.
Give me a kiss. You can go on, buddy.
Mommy,
Yes.
I really do want
You okay, buddy?
some honey mix. Some honey mix.
You want Honey to spend some time with you? Okay,
Alright, we'll
I'm
come out and
filming right
Yeah,
now.
we'll be out live, buddy.
Right now, live with people.
This is like the live. Someone was earlier asking where the kiddos were, and they're here with us.
I think you're gonna have to
So-
tell her that I said she has to. We'll see how much screaming ensues out of that. So we finished the tree, and we met my son, and my husband had a good time. We sippy with this tropical sangria hidden in the description. Check Monday. There'll be some important information coming up on things that are going to be happening. And then we'll officially see you back all in Gangbusters. Watch Periscope and Facebook if you can. Definitely share the artwork there. Facebook and Periscope and Twitter and Instagram will be my blacklight painting party tests that you will be seeing how that's working out for me.
Yeah.
And we're going to start putting these up on schedules so people know what the schedule is for live events. They can
Yeah, we'll try to
do the secret,
Yeah, we do the secret dance.
right? So that we can plan for that a little bit more. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Keep arting. It's the best thing in the world. And I love when you guys are sharing the paintings with me so much. I love seeing them. I'm trying to even if it's crazy, I'm like. I will see you guys really soon. Bye-bye.